Hi, I'm Sharon Moore, founder of Wellspoken, where we look at upper airway systems in the body, how they're working, and how they support our everyday lives. If the upper airway systems are not at their best, they can and do interfere with daily life. And getting to the bottom of upper airway problems is our core work, so people can thrive. Now, at Wellspoken, we leave no stone unturned to find the cause before we offer a treatment solution. Now, upper airway in a nutshell, it starts at the front of the face and extends to just below your voice box or larynx. And of course, a lot of this is on the inside of the nose, mouth, and throat. Things can go wrong at any point in the upper airway. And at Wellspoken, we look closely at both how the upper airway is working, that's function, and how the upper airway looks, that's the structure, and consider all the other factors to find out what is causing the problem. Now, for a snapshot of upper airway problems, a lot of very important things happen in this region of the body. Mostly, we don't think about them. That is, until something goes wrong. We can develop habits or patterns or an actual disorder that stops this part of the body working optimally or doing what it is supposed to do. For example, breathing, eating, and speaking, to name just a few, three things actually that happen in there. Now, let's face it, breathing, drinking, and eating keep us alive. Speech and voice help us to communicate and to connect with others. Now, as a general rule, if there's an upper airway problem, the bigger the problem, the bigger the impact. At home, in early childhood, at school or work, even making and keeping friends. Now, the bigger the problem, the longer it will take to resolve. So, of course, treating small problems is easier and quicker than waiting until a problem gets bigger. So we say treat early. And of course, human nature means many people wait until the problem is big, but we say, why wait? Now, not all problems start with little people, but many do. Signs in little people are often missed. For example, mouth breathing and nose congestion. And sometimes when seemingly little things go wrong, that is, the problem is mild, it can still have a big impact on everyday life and the future. Some people even think little problems are normal. It doesn't have to be this way. At Wellspoken, we like to treat early while a problem is still small before it gets bigger or before a big problem gets worse. Of course, we understand that treating early is not ideal for some or sometimes not possible. Here are some examples of upper airway problems that we're addressing. We divide them into how things work, that's function, and how things look, that's structure. But first, let's look at function, how everything works in there. There's a lot going on in the upper airway, both life-saving and life-maintaining functions. And depending on the referral we received from the dental or medical specialist, we look at how everything is working for the most important everyday functions: breathing, chewing, swallowing, saliva control, speech, voice. We also look at how efficiently a person can move and control the muscles of the mouth, face, and throat. You know, how far and how fast and how accurately and how symmetrically. But let's check a few super interesting facts about upper airway. For example, did you know that to produce a phrase of speech, about 100 muscles of the chest, neck, jaw, tongue, and lips must work together? Each spoken word has its own unique pattern of muscle movements. And did you know that it takes about 20 muscles to effectively close the airway for safe swallowing? It's a protective mechanism built into the body. And did you know that during swallowing, muscles close to protect the body, but during breathing and sleep, muscles are open in the airway to protect the body? Clever, huh? But when we look at functions, we look at breathing. For example, breathing dysfunction might mean the person is unable to breathe through the nose in the day or at the night. There may be a condition called sleep disordered breathing that leads to noisy, disrupted breathing, airway collapse even, or narrowing during sleep. And when we look at function, we look at swallowing and we see, is it atypical or disordered? This is important because a swallowing disorder can lead to unsafe swallowing or difficulty eating. When we look at function, we may look at speech or pronunciation. In fact, some very common pronunciation problems are a W for R. So you might hear one away wabbit. You might hear a TH for an S. Tham, thlurp, thoop, slowly. You might hear a slushy S for an SH or a CH, e.g. delicious, killy. Even an F for TH, the theatre was thrilling. We may also look at voice, the pitch, the quality, the loudness of the voice, the vocal endurance and flexibility, and anything that interferes with that, like a chronic cough. We also look at how efficiently a person can move the muscles of the mouth, face, and throat, how fast, how far, how accurately, how symmetrically. There are many other functions and dysfunctions that we may look at, and in the process, we decide if there is a habit or pattern causing a typical function, or is it a dysfunction, a disorder. And to fully understand, we also need to look at structure of the upper airway, and that starts at the front of the face, extends to just below the voice box or the larynx. Structure really refers to the size and shape of the bones in the face and the skull and the condition of the tissues that line the airway. And unsurprisingly, they have a really big impact on how an upper airway system is working, and vice versa. For example, the way muscle systems are used has an impact on how the bones grow and develop, especially in little people, and how bony shape in the face and the jaws is maintained once it's formed. So when looking at the structure, we look at the hard and the soft structures. We look at structure, the shape, size, and condition of them, like the hard structures, like the jaws, their shape, their size, their position. We look at the occlusion, how the upper and the lower jaws and teeth fit together. We look at teeth. Is there crowding? Is there missing teeth? Was there slow eruption of teeth? Is there decay? We look at the nose, facial symmetry, soft structures of the lips and the tongue and the uvula inside the nose, the throat, face, eyes, skin, tonsils, adenoids, connective tissues under the tongue, and the list goes on. But examples of hard structures, like jaws, we look at the shape and size, and here you see the jaws are narrow, and the appearance is that the front of the top jaw is displaced forward from the remainder, and teeth don't fit neatly together top to bottom. The side teeth even angle quite deeply towards the tongue. Here we see in a hard structure how the upper and lower jaws don't fit together at the right-hand side. It's a crossbite. Here's another crossbite and a super narrow jaws, and not much room in the jaws for the bigger adult teeth to grow or the tongue to move. Here we see big spacing between the teeth and a big gap between the upper and the lower jaws. Not only that, this little person with 8 missing teeth, according to dental x-rays, this will affect the way the bones in her face and jaws grow. This little person has a crossbite at the front teeth, where her top teeth sit behind the lower ones, and they should be in the front. Here's another little person who has an open bite, a gap between those upper and lower teeth, even when the back teeth are sitting together. Here, the top teeth completely cover the lower teeth. This is called a deep overbite. Here, the discrepancies from upper to lower jaws, they were caused by thumb sucking. Here's another one caused by thumb sucking, a big overjet where the front top teeth sit way forward of the lowers, and the lower jaw, it looks like it's been pushed back. And thumb sucking, well, it may seem cute, but thumb sucking causes a lot of problems with jaws and teeth. Now here, the upper jaw is so small, there's not enough room to fit the tongue. And here, the upper jaw is really high and narrow. It's called a vaulted upper jaw. Here is an example of soft structures or tissues. We see enlarged tonsils and a red uvula. And the nasal tissues are congested, although you can't see that in this photo. Here's a nose that needs a lot of help, a lot of congestion. Now, naturally, we also look at structure, hard and soft structures like tissues, and function for big people too. And of course, there may be many other processes beside structure and function that interfere with breathing, eating, speaking, that might be related to the environment or personality or brain function or medical conditions, and much more. It is all considered in our thorough assessment at Wellspoken. Now, patients assessed at Wellspoken have been referred by a medical or dental specialist. And once we've done that detailed assessment, we offer face-to-face, in-person and online appointments. A detailed assessment, diagnosis and treatment plan takes us 4 to 5 hours of time. It takes our patients about 1.5 to 2 hours. We offer one-to-one therapy. We also like to offer group therapy because based on our experience over the last 5 years and on what neuroscience is telling us, many people simply do better when working in a small group with others. Why so? Because when you work with others, your brain can learn faster by a process called mirror neurons. We're told consistently by patients that groups are great. Now, be sure to check out the next videos on chewing, good chewing, and might we say not so good chewing. Enjoy those. Upper airway disorders happen 24/7. That's why we go to extra lengths to improve upper airway health, their daytime effects while we're awake and their nighttime effects during sleep. And that's why we also work with sleep specialists, respiratory physicians, allergists, ENT, and others to offer you therapy to improve your upper airway health and breathing, daytime and nighttime. Yes, for things like sleep apnea or snoring or noisy breathing. Now, if you're a medical, dental, or allied health professional and you want to explore our resources or our courses like Myo Fully Integrated, and you want to learn how we do things at Wellspoken, well, take some time, explore the website, and let us know that you want to learn. And if you're someone who's very important in a child's life, like, yes, you, mums and dads, and grandparents, and you want to explore our resources and courses, well, we've got lots. Take time to explore our website. And don't forget, if your kids have breathing issues, day or night, grab a copy of Sleep Wreck Kids and stay tuned for the 3 new publications called Well Slept Kids, transforming your kids' sleep before they start school. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to Wellspoken. Thank you so much for listening.